No, but she was telling me.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so yesterday was a quick review to catch me up with you guys. Now, to get to the answer to these, we have the problem. We have two Mishnayos. The Mishnah is authoritative. Mishnah is totally authoritative. We can't ask questions about the Mishnah. We can only ask, what does it mean? We can't knock it off. We can't contradict it, say it's not accurate or anything like that. It's like many things in life. You don't understand them, you have to work to try and understand them. Other things in life, you can look for a problem, a flaw, and discard it as a misinformation. Mishnah cannot be discarded. Mishnah is authoritative. Just like a pasuk in the Torah, it says, in the beginning Hashem created the heavens and the earth. You can't argue with that. That's Torah from Sinai. And Mishnah is also Torah from Sinai. Like we said yesterday, like a king and a queen, they complement each other, male and female principles. So we have a problem. We have two authoritative Mishnahs, which seem to be contradictory. Well, I just finished saying that there's no contradictions here. So we have to work out what is the difference between them. How can they both be true? Must be so that they're both be true. So to answer this question and to answer a lot of questions, there's always the same answer. When you're asked any question, no matter what the question is, usually the answer is Torah and mitzvahs. There's an answer to every question. But exactly how is it the answer? Well, that requires some thought and some research. So similarly, every time there's a problem, what is the source of the problem? The source of the problem is the person has the Yetzer Hara. You have a problem, you have a Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara makes problems. In fact, we're going to learn that the whole function of the Yetzer Hara is the negativity in your character. But when you want to do something good, this negativity pops up and tells you, come on, calm down. Don't get overexcited. And we'll give you all kinds of excuses why you shouldn't proceed with your good inclinations. And that's its job. The job is to challenge you. Because like they say in the gyms, no pain, no gain. You only really appreciate something that you have to work for. So it's like a test. The teacher gives you a test at the end of the term. Nobody likes to have a test, but the test is really designed to consolidate your knowledge. Make sure you learn it and you know it. So the Yetzer Hara comes to make sure that we know things, and that's called. So really, the answer to these problems, and the very profound, the very deep answer, is that we are not single-souled. We're not monolithic. We're not spiritual monoliths. It's to say, if I have a soul, that's the source of my life, and I do something bad, that doesn't make me necessarily a wicked, evil person. It means there's a negative side to me that maybe temporarily got the upper hand. Okay, so we have a struggle. And that's what the Tanya is about to teach us. What's the question? Let's remember, what's the question? The question was, how is it that the soul, before it's born, is administered an oath to be righteous? And if you think that you're righteous and everybody's telling you that you're righteous, don't get complacent about it. Don't be arrogant. You should, even if everybody tells you that you're the best student in the dorm, the best Balas Tshuva that ever passed through these doors, you should consider yourself as very incomplete. Even it uses the term wicked. In your own eyes, you should be wicked. And then the problem is we have another Mishnah from the teachings of the sages, which says you're never allowed to think that you're a wicked person, because if you think that you're wicked, you're going to be upset and depressed. And if you're upset and depressed, you can't serve God. Now listen to this carefully. There are two things in Jewish life that are not a mitzvah and not a transgression. Neither of them. One is not a mitzvah, the other is not a transgression, but they are more powerful than mitzvahs or transgressions. And what are they? Well, the first one is applies more to men, which is to go to the mikveh on a daily basis. Women don't go on a daily basis. The mikveh is extremely special, and it's a wonderful. The other classes about it. It's not my role here to talk to you about the beauty of the mikveh and the holiness that it brings into a person's married life, which is something so special, and nothing, it cannot be paralleled or imitated in any way. And men go every day. Hasidim go every day to the mikveh in order to purify their minds and their heart before they pray to God. It's not a mitzvah, but it can inspire a person to go way beyond spiritually in his relationship with Hashem, what he would otherwise accomplish without it. The other thing that's not transgression is to be upset, to be sad, to be depressed. And why is it? There's no mitzvah, don't be depressed. It's a teaching from the sages, but it's not a mitzvah. And the reason is because when a person is upset and depressed, it can lead him to do the worst transgressions, because he gives up on the value of his life. Just totally gives up. And when a person gives up, then we have these terrible events that take place where some deranged person who gives up on his potential in life, gives up on his inner worth as a human being, walks into a post office and starts shooting everybody. Because why not? And he knows he's going to get killed anyway. Somebody once sent me a video clip about 7 or 8 minutes long about a person who had a very hard life. He was born, his mother was on drugs, he was born addicted, he went on to various programs, he was raised in a foster home. Life was going fine until in his teenage years, things started going wrong, and they got worse and worse and worse until finally he gave up on his life. And one day he was walking along the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge, and nobody would say hello to him. Must have been the Brooklyn Bridge, because people walk over. And he said, if this next person doesn't say hello, that's it, I'm going to jump. And the next person walked by and did not say hello, did not acknowledge his greeting, and he just put his hands on the railing and threw himself over. He said, as soon as I went flying into the air, I knew I had made a mistake. And when I hit the water, it was with a bang that I never experienced in my life. And immediately people saw, and a boat came over to rescue me, and they said that I'm 1 in 1,000 that I was still alive, because most people, and he made this whole clip to discourage people who are depressed from doing something drastic. And the point of my telling you this story is that from being depressed, it can cause a person to do worse than the worst transgression. So these are two things. And this is the meaning of the second Mishnah that we learned, that a person should never, ever think that he's wicked, because if you think you're wicked and you're no good, then it's going to make you sad, and you won't be able to serve God with happiness and a full heart. And it can lead you to do terrible, terrible things. So we have to reconcile these two Mishnahs that seem to be at loggerheads. They seem to be contradicting each other. to understand this answer, we had to look at this teaching from the Talmud, where Rabbah, does anybody know who was Rabbah? Rabbah was like the Rebbe of his time. He was the most outstanding scholar and Jewish leader of his time. He didn't live long. He only lived to the age of 39. But he was the master. And he said we have to understand that there are 5 levels of the 5 different kinds of categories of souls, which we looked at yesterday. We have the tzaddik, the rasha, and the beinani, the righteous person, the wicked person, the in-between person. And in these categories, we have another 2 subcategories, which is the righteous person who has good, the righteous person who does not have good, the wicked person who has good, the wicked person who does not have good. What are these all about? Okay, so to understand that, and we had another question. How could someone as righteous as the Rebbe, and the Rebbe is like the same, you understand? So how could the Rebbe tell somebody, I'm a Beinani? So when Rabbah said that, these are the different categories, and I am the middle category. So his colleague named Abaya gave Ashrai, a Himmel Shrai. What? If you're a Beinani, we're all dead. We are all dead. For 2 reasons. Number 1, if you're a Beinani, we're all wicked. And we just learned in Parshas Noach, when the whole world is wicked, Hashem doesn't see a point for the world to continue. The world stands on the shoulders of the righteous person. If you're wicked, there's no righteous person. You with me?
He won't destroy the world again.
Can't hear you.
He's not going to destroy the world again, though, because
He promised he wouldn't. Yeah, he promised he would. We'll see a rainbow, and he won't do it. So therefore, it's impossible to accept what Rabbah said, that he's a Beinani. Because if he's a Beinani, the world is all wicked and it cannot endure. So how can Rabbah say something untrue? That's the question. What did Rabbah have in mind? Rabbah wasn't playing games. It wasn't false humility. It wasn't just pretending of being humble. He's a great righteous person. Every word he said is Torah. How could he say it? Okay, so that's one of the questions we have to deal with here. What is the Beinani? I mean, the Beinani is not just the average guy on the street. He's not just your average Schwartz. If Rabbah thinks he's a Beinani, the Beinani must be a very special person. He must be like a Rebbe. If the Beinani is a Rebbe, so then what is a Rebbe? And what is a Beinani? You understand how our whole understanding of the questions just shifted. Okay, and then we came to this phrase that the tzaddik is the foundation of the world. And if Rabbah is not a tzaddik, then there's no foundation to the world. So how can we deal with this? Okay, we're on page 44 now in your books. To begin this explanation, the Alter Rebbe is going to take us into the classroom, into the cheder with a very, very few students. When you think about it, these tremendous ideas were being taught not in some grandiose yeshiva, that they were being taught in little rooms, in cottages. In small groups of students studying from a master. When the Baal Shem Tov, before the Baal Shem Tov was revealed, what was he? He was, everybody would think he's a common laborer. He goes into the forest. He found a sand pit. He shovels sand into a wagon. He sells sand to the contractors who are building homes. What kind of a living is that? What kind of person is that? Nobody would think that this is in his generation. This is Rabbah of his generation. A very humble existence. And how many students did he have? And yet from him has grown a movement that is encircling every Jewish community in the world now, on the basis of his teachings. Now I'm going to digress. What are the basis of his teachings? He was an orphan. He didn't have any inheritance. He didn't have a rich father-in-law to take care of him and pay for his kollel education after he got married. He didn't have a talus with silver things worth hundreds of dollars over the head. He didn't have a beautiful set of clothes. And when he got married, he didn't have gorgeous silver and glassware and a beautiful home, as you would expect from a great scholar who marries into a wealthy family. He was a poor person. He was impoverished. An orphan. He lived alone in the woods. He spent a lot of time in the woods, communing with nature, communing with God. His father passed away when he was 3 years old. According to a different version, 5 years old. Previous Rebbe tells us it was actually 3 years old. His father was Rabbi Eliezer, a great tzaddik who had no children. Anybody know the story? Everybody likes stories. This is a good story. Rabbi Eliezer and his wife Sarah had no children. One of the mitzvahs that he did most beautifully was to take in guests on Shabbos. And if he didn't have guests, he would send people to look if anybody needed a place to stay for Shabbos. Because taking in guests on Shabbos, we learn from Avraham Avinu, this is the mitzvah of taking in guests, the first mitzvah of Avraham Avinu, and it's greater than receiving the divine presence. When Avraham had a bris and he was healing, he was sitting and he was recovering from his operation, and it was a boiling hot day, and he was very upset because he had no guests. So Hashem sent him guests, and then Hashem came to visit him, because it's a mitzvah. From this we learn it's a mitzvah to visit the sick. And Hashem saw he was very upset that he had no guests. So Hashem sent 3 angels disguised as Arabs to visit him. So he had guests. What did Avram do? He says, "Excuse me, Hashem, I have guests." And he got up despite his physical discomfort, and he ran to these Arabs. "Please come into my tent. Cool off, wash up. Let me give you something cool to drink. And we have a meal for you. We have wine, we have fish, we have soup, we have everything, whatever you need." And they had to go along with him. They had to pretend that they were people. And from this, we learn a very deep concept, that taking in guests is greater than having God visit you in person, which is called entertaining the Shekhinah, the presence of God. He says to Hashem, "Excuse me, Hashem, I have guests." Okay, so that's why Rabbi Eliezer wanted to have guests, because he went in the ways of God, which are the ways of Avraham Avinu. And it was decreed, the Jewish people were in a very, very bad situation, universally. A lot of bad things had happened to the Jewish people. There'd been terrible, terrible pogroms. Millions of Jews had been killed. Innocent like in the Holocaust. Innocent, unarmed people were just grabbed out of their communities and slaughtered by these soldiers with swords, cut down. I saw an engraving, a picture that was done at the time in the 1600s. Oh, terrible, terrible pogroms. That was one thing. Number two is terrible poverty. Number three, there was a charlatan, a person who was a deceiver, and he posed as the Messiah. He said, "I'm the Messiah. We're going to redeem you." And a lot of people were inspired. He was a very charismatic person, and a lot of people were inspired and thought, "This is going to get us out of this terrible, terrible situation." And he led a whole party of Jews to the Holy Land, and the Holy Land, the whole Mediterranean at that time. Anybody knows a little history? Before the First War, until the end of the First World War, the whole Mediterranean was controlled by who? Turkey, Muslims, the Byzantine Empire. Its capital in Constantinople, right? And he was captured, and they told him, "You better be a convert to Islam, or we're going to kill you." The sword of Islam. And he converted. And so people just felt betrayed. They felt there's no hope. The Messiah was a false Messiah. So the Jewish people as a whole were in a great state of depression, which is compared to a faint. When a person faints, what do? You go over what?
You say their name in their ear.
Don't hear.
You say their name in their ear.
You call their name. So the Jewish people as a whole were in a state of faint, and it was necessary to call their name. The name of the Jewish people is Yisroel. And this was the name that was given to the, so this soul had to come down, the soul that would bring new life to the Jewish body of people, the body politic of the Jewish people. And this would be the Yisroel that would give them life. Yisroel is the father of all the Jewish people, right? Yisroel Avinu, Yaakov Avinu. But who would merit to bring the soul into the world? So Rabbi Eliezer, for his righteousness, was found worthy that he should be the one to bring this soul. He and his wife Sarash, they were aged. I don't know, 80s. They were in their 80s. They were really old, like Avram Avinu and Sarah. And the Yetzer Hara said, "It's not fair. If this neshama comes into the world, I'm done for. I'm finished." And so he challenged the right of Rabbi Eliezer to bring this neshama into the world. And angels spoke up in the defense of Rabbi Eliezer and said, "It's not a fair fight. You're an angel, and he's a human being. So it's not fair that you should go test him, because who can stand up against you?" They said to the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara is an angel of God. No one can stand up against you. It's not a fair fight. So Eliyahu HaNavi was chosen, Elijah the prophet was chosen to test Rabbi Eliezer. To see if he was worthy. Tehillah, you with me? No. She went to brush her teeth. She's missing the story. This is Emes. True story. It was all revealed by Rabbi Adam Baal Shem. Okay, so what happened? Rabbi Eliezer used to love to have guests. One time on a rainy Shabbos, a rainy, muddy Shabbos, in the middle of Shabbos, came in a guest, knocks on the door and just comes in, dripping wet, muddy, and he says, and he's carrying on Shabbos. Now, most of us nowadays in the 21st century don't even know that carrying is something you're not supposed to do on Shabbos, because it's the basis of one of the most fundamental creative activities of mankind is transportation of goods, business, trade, commerce. We don't carry on Shabbos. You don't carry anything. You don't carry a handkerchief or a credit card, or the credit card, you can buy the whole world. You can't carry anything, not a key. I knew a young man once, his father was from, he left Yiddishkeit because his father used to carry a key to the house on Shabbos. If he can carry a key on Shabbos, it means he doesn't believe in God. So in comes this guy carrying a stick and a knapsack, and he smells, and he just comes in, he says, I'm famished. And he walks over to the Shabbos table, he sees some wine, pours himself some wine and drinks it without even saying a bracha. In other words, his behavior was despicable. And the other guests at the table got very upset with him. What kind of way is to behave? Don't you know where you are? This is Rabbi Eliezer. This is his house. You behave like it's not a barn. And Rabbi Eliezer left the room to get a towel, get him something, a cloak, so get him some decent, something to drink, something to eat. And all the other guests started criticizing him. Rabbi Eliezer comes in the room and hears them all screaming at him. And no, come, sit here beside me, treats him as most honored guest. And this went on through the Shabbos many times. That kind of scene repeated itself. He behaved like a boor, and Rabbi Eliezer just responded to him with kindness until the end of the Shabbos. And then he left, and Rabbi Eliezer accompanied him and gave him money. This despicable, smelly beggar gave him money. Would any of you be able to stand up to such a test? We know the truth. It was really Eliyahu Hanavi. It was really Elijah. And as they're leaving, when they leave everybody, so then Elijah reveals himself to Rabbi Eliezer, and he says, Rebbe, thank you for everything you did for me. I have something to tell you, that this was a test, and you passed, and you and your wife, Sarah, are going to merit to bring a new neshama into the world, not 100%, million% new, that was the Alter Rebbe, but a new, great neshama, and you should call him Yisroel, and he will bring new life to the whole Jewish people, and he will pave the way for Mashiach to come. Okay, this story has a continuation to it, which I can't get into now because the class is almost over. But this is a great story about how the Baal Shem Tov was born and the role of the Yetzer Hara in this whole business. So we have to understand, you see, from all this, that a person doesn't have just one single neshama, because if you only have one neshama, then when you do something bad, that means you're totally wicked. And the answer is not that you're a wicked person. On the contrary, you're a good person, and you have a holy neshama, but you also have a Yetzer Hara which can challenge you. So this is how the Yetzer Hara wanted to challenge Rabbi Eliezer, and instead, Eliyahu Hanavi was sent to carry out the challenge. Now, the Baal Shem Tov, when he was born, like I said, he was only 3 years old when Rabbi Eliezer, who was an old man, passed away. What did he leave his son? When my father, Oliver Sholem, was 11 years old, his father passed away. And he told me that his whole inheritance of the family, he left 6 children and $25 in the bank, and a horse and a wagon. And my father had to go and sell the horse and the wagon. Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov didn't have that much. he didn't have a kopek. His mother was Sarah, and the entire inheritance that his father left him was two things. Now, write this down and nail it into your brains because it's so important. His will, his last will and testament to his 3-year-old son was Yisrolik, he said. You should love every other Jew. No, you should never be afraid of anything or anyone. Never. Only of Hashem. And the second thing is that you should have a complete and total love of every other Jewish person in the whole world. And his neshama went out. And this made such a profound impression on the little boy that it became the two central pillars of everything he had to teach the world. And these two ideas are the basis of everything that you have to learn here in this holy institution. And it's the fundamental basis of our whole life. Never, ever to be intimidated or afraid of anything except Hashem. And to love every other Jew with all your heart and soul. To love another Jew just the same as you is the basis of our holy Torah. Torah. Yes.
Did you say never be intimidated by anyone other than Hashem?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Never be intimidated by anyone or anything. You know, when the communists tried to wipe out Judaism when they began in 1920 in Russia, and the previous Rebbe was organizing underground yeshivas in secret all over the place, sending out his students, young boys who were his students, to teach little children in groups of 2s and 3s and 4 on and so on. So they came to him, and he was to arrest him, and he was davening, and he refused to acknowledge their presence because he was davening. So the person came to arrest him, pulled out a gun. He said, "Listen, Rabbi, you know, we can make you talk. This little toy here makes a lot of people talk." And the Rebbe said to him, when he finished, when he was davening and he could answer him, he said to him, "This toy only works for a person who has no God and one world. I have one God and 2 worlds, and you can put your toy away." That took a lot of guts. Yeah.
The quote, going back to the quote that I asked about before, who said that again?
Rabbi Eliezer.
Rabbi Eliezer.
Eliezer, the father of the Baal Shem Tov. Have a great day, girls.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Double day, Rabbi.